Hello, welcome back to another live stream. How's everyone's Sunday going? Mine is a little rocky, but I think we're gonna get there. Waiting for some sort of punchline about less rock, more metal. A metalier morning. A morning full of medleys. Alright, cool. Yeah, see, this should have been populated already, and it wasn't. I got really worried, but it's working now, so we're good. Let's see. Johnny Truant's here. Johnny Peace, Love, and Metal is here. Blake, Damien, Synops, Leon. Good morning to all of you. Oh, snap. Today is the Super Bowl, isn't it? What would be a stream without technical issues? Yeah, I don't even know what the issue really was. I don't know. I do know that there have been 5 updates for the software that I use for this, but every time I update it, it just goes haywire, so I've been sticking with it, but it's in version like 0.0.11. It's very early beta stuff, so I probably should update, but I'm kind of scared. All right. Regardless, I'm ready to get into this. We got some good stuff ahead of us. At least this proves you haven't been replaced by... Yeah, dude, if you ever see a perfect stream, I've been replaced by the AI overlords. Someone's deep faking me, and although would a deep fake understand the fact that I make mistakes and implement those into its reproduction of me? Huh? I don't know, that's kind of scary. It lagged right as you said that? Come on. Oh, I did forget. Okay, give me 1 second. Technical difficulties, doing the stuff that I'm supposed to have already done. There we go. Just gonna sing some little ditties while this goes on. Alright. Y'all cross your fingers. I don't know how this... That looks good. Alright. Is everyone here? I suppose is the good question. Did everybody get reconnected properly? It refreshed a few times. Yeah, so I switched my internet over from Wi-Fi to hardwire. I've found that Wi-Fi just isn't quite as stable, which, duh, makes sense. But I forgot to do that switch earlier today. I only have one Ethernet cable to to the desk, so I need it for other things when I'm not streaming. Why didn't you do that to begin with? Yeah, it's one of those mornings. See, here's the other thing too, is so like 10 minutes prior to starting the stream, I go and check in on my kid, but there's 2 kids here today. I got my niece over, and so I'm like, hey, I start my stream in 10 minutes. Do y'all need anything? And they're like, lunch. And I'm like, no, I can't get lunch ready in 10 minutes. So I was a little bit behind on some stuff. But overall, I think we're good. The demons are multiplying. Dude, I have so many nieces and nephews. It's double digits easy. Food now. Yeah, that's what it felt like. I was like, dang, you could have asked me this like 10 minutes prior to now. I would have had plenty of time to... Kids have a sixth sense for that, though. Like, even just like sitting down, the moment my butt hits a chair, I hear my name called. They just know. Kids are wild. That's exactly how I would have said it as a kid, so I'm cackling now. All right. Oh, snap. There is one thing that I don't think I did. but cool. I forgot I have that function. I can put it in studio mode and edit another scene without going to it, and sometimes I forget about that. But I didn't. I just fixed something on a totally different area. All right. My niece and nephew is just double. I would have piled on as many additional requests too. Yeah, it was funny. I was like, look in the fridge, find something. What are you doing up already? Okay, Hazard Floppa requests. So Alabama Shakes covers a lot of ground in their sound, mainly with soul, bluegrass, gospel, R&B, country of different eras and styling, 60s rock and roll, funk, and modern Delta blues sounds. This album comes from Sound and Color and is my go-to recommendation for people I run into who think mainstream country is the sound of the southern US, as it touches on all of these classic sounds and elements and blends them together extremely well. Can't recommend it enough. Gimme All Your Love is just a powerhouse of a classic soul and blues rock song that always hits for myself. All right. So it seems that OBS is telling me to get on with it. No more anecdotes. So let's dive into this. Alabama Shakes, Gimme All Your Love. Let's open this up a little bit, see what's going on in here. And let's go. You know what's interesting is it's starting off with some heavy Mars Volta vibes. Okay, this has not been 2 minutes, has it? I'm gonna start this over. I could have sworn Okay, here's the real intro. Jeez, that was weird. I thought that sounded a bit too far into the track. Yeah, this is a way to start a song that isn't something loud and noisy.
Why don't you sit with me for just a little while?
Yeah, this makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I was thinking about being spoiled a little bit too. See, I really dig this though. Lots of energy, lots of power. All this weight being contrasted with slight airiness. All of it keeping a real strong down-tempo beat.
Why don't you talk to me for just a little while? I can only try to make it right.
That is easily my favorite part, is going from the spaciousness to those really big guitar chords. on SNL and I've never heard of him? Oh, that's how it ends. That's even better. Oh man. Yeah, I enjoyed that. It does have a lot of early rock in it. It's loud, it's bombastic, but it's chill. A little bit of that, a little bit of a funky sound, some R&B in there. Definitely blues rock though. I'm digging it. It's a bit simple though. I don't know that I have a lot to dig into it, but the chorus is infectious and it's gonna be stuck in my head all day, especially with those drops. Da 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 boom. Comes down to the silence. Big chord comes in after that just to punctuate that dead space and fill it. Is man, his vocals just on top of all of it, soaring. Too fuzzy and EQ to the warm side. I think that's more of an emulation of the era. Because this is a 2015 album, so it's definitely an intentional decision. I think it's designed specifically to pull in more of a 70s sound than a cleaner modern one. The chorus, I mean the verse, I like it. It's one of those things where I like it in perspective though. Where, oh, I didn't catch on that. Huh. What was I going on though? Oh yeah, yeah, I like it in perspective. It's necessary for the chorus to be what it is, but it feels just a bit too empty for me to really engage with it in the moment. And the bridge too. The bridge replayed many of the ideas from our A and B, which is kind of common for not just modern music, but also for some of the sounds that they're emulating. So, yeah, like I said, it's to be expected, but I do wish the bridge did something to push the song forward. But I mean, I'm here for the chorus, and everything else works to support that in some way or another. I dig it. That's some good stuff right there. All right, next up we got some Keigo Hoashi. Side project of metallic hardcore band Vein FM. That does not seem accurate. That does not seem. Let me check something real quick because that is a totally different thing. This is Terra Necklace. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what happened. I see what happened. Bam. 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 Save. Here we go. My conclusion is that I'm going to forget this song ever existed with the next two songs. Dang. That chorus is unforgettable. Alright, this one comes from Terra Necklace. It's a beautiful song from the OST of Nier Automata. I spelled that wrong. Come on, man. Okay, I'm just going to leave it. And I guess this is a boss soundtrack. So, let's get into it. Proceeds to have technical difficulties. Yeah, that's... I have made notes, both in tabs on Firefox and on my desk, my little whiteboard I got over here, to look into this. So you might end up seeing some streams this week. They're purely technical testing, and I'm going to be looking into some settings that maybe I can change software side, because I'm still like 99% sure the hardware's fine. I am going to look into getting a new Ethernet cable though, because this one's like 15 years old. Maybe it has some issues somewhere along the line. But with any luck, by the time we get out of February, the stream should be consistently solid. And I say that where I'm dropping frames like crazy, so. Alright, let's get in on this. We got some Nier Automata. Interesting, this isn't by, why can't I think of his name? Kiebe? Dang, the guy who, like, all the tracks that we've listened to from this soundtrack was written by this other guy, and this one is one of the few songs. Yeah, there we go, Keiichi Okabe. That's it. And this one's written by someone different, so that's kind of cool. You get to see a little bit of a different side of this soundtrack. Let's dive into it. Ooh, such a soundtrack vibe with that drop. You know what's wild? It just dawned on me that there's definitely ideas that make things sound like trailer music to me. And for some reason, this is a song that I could see in a trailer for the game. Got some brass over there. Oh, that flute little flourish over there. I think it's particularly these types of cinematic drums mixed with that drop and then the boom kind of thing that we had at the beginning. Like, it put me into that mindset. Yeah, I think I actually have two different packs of cinematic drums that are pretty much just this. Absolutely beautiful though, a real nice combination of anxiety, a pressure, like a pressure to move. A constant pushing forward with a bit of a reluctance, some weight that makes it so that the decision isn't easy. That's what it feels like to me. They had a vocalist change in the middle. I don't know when that happened. Intensity, that's the word I wanted. There's just this forward momentum, a pressure to make a decision, but a reluctance to lean into that. Oh, it's literally called A Beautiful Song. I should have known that, but I guess I didn't pick up on that from the context. But it is beautiful, honestly, as the name suggests. Despite the fact that I think it utilizes a few different tropes that are maybe it works because it's predictable. It does everything I expect it to. It follows these decisions with gorgeous melodies that sit on top of this pressure, this tension on the bottom. There is a bit of light, a glimmer of hope that sits above a lot of darkness that sits in the foundation. It's kind of what I expect Nier to be. I feel like I'm going to be ruined on the game if I ever get around to it because I've listened to so much of the music and I think I'm picking up on key themes, not story beats of course, but like key thematic plots. None of the soundtrack names are really innocent. That's interesting too. Brian doesn't read YouTube titles. No, because this YouTube title is it's in Japanese. So I didn't know what it was, and Terra Necla did put a beautiful song in their context, but I thought it was just like, this is a beautiful song from the soundtrack. I'm like, cool, I like beautiful music. I didn't know it was the title. So I love the OST before I played the game and enjoyed it. Alright. First time catching you live. I've been watching your reactions videos for years. Awesome. Glad to have you, Max. I listened to the soundtrack a lot before playing, still got hit like a truck. That's good. That's good. Okay, so one of these days, here's the thing is I'm still in the middle of Witcher 2. It took me a year and a half to beat the first Witcher, and I think I'm at like 4 or 5 months now for Witcher 2. And I know I'm still only in like the first third of it. There's still a lot left to go, and I want to finish. I think I'll put Witcher 3 off. I'll play Nier in between Witchers 2 and 3, and then I know some people want me to stream it. I guess I'll stream Nier. Find some time for that. A couple hours every week. Maybe I'll finish that in a year or two. But the swordplay looked goofy. It's interesting. Witcher 1's still my favorite. I know what I'm getting into with 3, so I think 1 will still be my favorite after I finish the trilogy. But I know that that's a bit of a spicy take, so I don't know. I'm ready to defend it, though. 1 is a perfect game. It really is. I don't know that you could top it. The combat didn't feel... I can agree with that. I avoid combat as much as I can. I've thought about pumping it down to easy just to finish the game because the combat is not my cup of tea. It really isn't. I'll play insert story game with similar combat mechanics here on my list, on my stream list one of these days. Minecraft. You talking about a game with bad combat, unsatisfying combat, or are you talking about just a better game? But no, like, there's just so much media. I talk about this, I feel like every week. There's so much music coming out, so many movies, so many games. It's impossible to keep up with it. It is ridiculous that I have a running list for pretty much every artistic medium of things I want to get to. And I know I'll never complete any of the lists because I add on to them way quicker than I remove from them. They're lists in a spreadsheet, so you do what you want with that information, but they're definitely in a spreadsheet file, that is for sure. That's a good idea too. I don't have the patience for that, and I've tried to do that before, is watch someone else play, and I don't get as emotionally engaged if I'm not participating in it. And I think it's just because there's so much distance between plot beats. It works with like a Metal Gear Solid game. I don't think it would work so well with a Witcher. If it isn't 500-page spreadsheet, I'm doing well. I'm not there yet, but one of mine is like 16 pages, and I have a ton of functions that reference other lists that reference tables. So it's convoluted, but it does what I need it to. Yeah, watch other people depending on the game. And like when I think about it, if I tune into Twitch or something to watch somebody play, it's usually for gameplay, not for story. So I'll watch someone. Well, I'll watch Rocket League, professional Rocket League, which actually just started last month, so that's exciting. And I watch stuff like Lethal Company. So yeah, watching people play a story game just doesn't appeal to me, I suppose. Spend time catching up on lists instead. See, the thing too is though, you can watch someone play a game and do that as a secondary thing to something else you're doing, and now you're completing two things off the list. So, dude, Lethal Company is a blast. And the thing is too, is I just found out there's a VR mod for it, and I've installed it, and I told my gaming group the next time we play, I'm doing it in VR, so I'm gonna have to wear my brown pants that day. Alright, moving forward. Cruelty Squad. Wait, no, I'm thinking of Fashion Police. What's Cruelty Squad? Do I already got... I don't have this queued up. Next one is Fleshwater's Foreign. No for VR Lethal Company. Oh, you're not explaining... Oh, you're not explaining... Oh, wait. I think I know what Cruelty Squad is. That's the first-person psychedelic thing that looks like the PS1 game LSD. It's on my list. I haven't purchased it yet. Very little emotional connection, yeah. Alright, cool. Yeah, so I know of it. I don't have a connection to that name for some reason, and every time I see it, I think of the 2D first-person shooter Fashion Police, because that game is amazing. Oh, okay. Psychotic Finnish game devs. The Waters. Oh, man. Alright, no more spoilers on that. I'm getting there one day. Alright, this one comes from Christopher. This is the side project of Vane FM, which, man, we're in for a rough time, I think. They're called Fleshwater. Like, I don't like that word. It feels weird. It has, man, it looks weird. I don't like the image it's got in my brain. Oh, the water. I see what you're saying. Moist. See, that's a phrase that no one should say. And you almost made me say, that's another one. How about we avoid some of this? I feel like we're 5 words away from YouTube blocking the video because of what's happening in chat. That's not a good place for a band to take you. Wait. See, that's not where my mind went. But I think y'all are right. Yeah, see, I was going in a... like a Cronenberg direction for what Fleshwater might be, and y'all are just like, that's just blood. And I'm like, yeah, that makes a bit more sense. You play too much Lethal Company. I've seen some disturbing things in there, that's for sure. Alright, let's kick it. We got some Fleshwater here. Let's see what they're doing. Oh, Darkwood sounds good. It's less noisy than I was expecting given Vane FM. Digging it. Okay, give me more of these vocals. Yeah, I gotta listen to more of this. That's how these bands get me. I wonder how heavy the lyrics are though, given that the album is called We're Not Here to Be Loved. Yeah, it's like pure atmosphere. Even the vocals are doing atmospheric work more than anything else. Oh, for sure. Also, welcome to the stream, pair. So they formed in 2017. They're listed as alternative metal, post-hardcore, alternative rock, shoegaze, soft grunge. Soft grunge? There were some grungy ideas in there. Specifically, I heard, well, a bit on the noisier side of grunge would be Deftones. And I know I don't think Deftones is typically classified under grunge, but to me there's a grunginess to them. I think it mostly deals with their tempos and their heavy use of distortion. And new gaze. I don't know what new gaze is. What genre is this? Yes. Yeah, they formed in 2017, but this was their debut album in 2022. They had a demo in 2020. So it took them some time to get here, which is interesting given that it's a side project of a pretty big band. It's not like it's a bunch of people putting their first thing out and having to deal with, still having to work and coordinate schedules and stuff where it takes a long time to get your debut out. I mean, these are all musicians. So that's interesting. But yeah, like I'm here for this. It's slow, it's heavy, it's grungy, it's atmospheric, and we have two vocalists, and a lot of that's atmospheric too. We don't really have fast melodies coming out of either one of them. It's a lot of long held out notes, tons of reverb. Just gorgeous. It's a lot of the stuff I love about the grunge genre mixed with the grittiness of whatever Deftones does, and a little bit of a dash of post-hardcore as far as what I can hear is harmonic devices, specifically in the melody, the notes that are chosen to play over the chords, dual vocalists. I mean, this is just, yeah, this is made for me. But like I said, I am a little concerned about the lyrical contents because we're not here to be loved, I think is what it's called. And that's just like, dang, the album title's starting off heavy. Yeah, I've pulled that off to the side though. I'm gonna have to give that a listen. 9 tracks. There's a 10th cassette edition bonus track. Come on. Oh, it's a remix of another track. I'm okay with that. One of the tracks is a Bjork cover. And it runs 27 minutes long. So that's just like, that's not a lot of time at all. According to YouTube, according to Wikipedia, there's a 2023 album as well called Sounds of Grieving, but there's not a page for it. So I'm going to have to look that up later. Produced by the Converge guitarist. Interesting. All right. Like I said, I enjoyed that. I don't have much critical to say about it. It's just heavy atmosphere with great vocal work. We had some harsh vocals at the beginning. I'm surprised that they didn't bring those back anywhere towards the end of the track, but honestly, kind of worked. I didn't really have too big of a problem with that. The atmosphere was great, so. All right. Pushing forward, we got some live Lamb of God. I am aware of this track. I have heard this track, but that's not a problem for Scartex. Another Lamb of God banger, this time a live recording. The song is one of their more well-known tracks, not complex, but a heavy groove, breakdown, and energy. Their concerts are such an experience. Now, I only know this track because of Guitar Hero 2, I think. Maybe it was one of the old days back in the 2000s. I don't think it was Guitar Hero 3. I think this was still when Harmonix was running it. Primarily because I never played Guitar Hero 3. So, I don't think that was it. But yeah, you know what though? I'm kind of curious now. Let me see something real quick because I want to know if this came out on Rock Band 1 because that's going to create an interesting thing here. Do we have a track list? All right, artist, song title, Laid to Rest. No, it must have been on number 2 then. What I was going to say is because the first Rock Band title was all covers. Because the team, I guess they didn't have money for all the licenses, so they covered all the tracks on them. And they were pretty good covers for the ones that I knew the original for. But that also would have meant I'd never heard a Lamb of God play this. But I guess I have. So, let's dive into this. It is the live version. Bring this down here. Let's go. You don't think it was on Rock Band or really? I'm kind of curious now. Oh wait, no, not Rock Band. That's why. You're right, Guitar Hero. It's just such an iconic song. Or, I guess more an iconic riff, but yeah. Laid to Rest was in Guitar Hero 2. So yeah, I did hear the original. Oh, actually, this says that it was not the master recording. I didn't know Guitar Hero 2 also had covers on it. Is Randy the vocalist? Everyone else looks like they have long hair unless I'm missing something. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm gonna start calling pits crowd vortexes. I like that. You know, I was kind of along with Johnny a little bit there, where I'm like, okay, you know, I don't find them boring, but I do find them to do what they do very well. And then that ending came in with the heavy bass underneath it, and bringing back the iconic riff, and I'm like, yeah, actually, this is great. But yeah, I guess that's the first time I've heard that track done by Lamb of God. I don't think I've ever listened to the original on my own. I've only heard it from Guitar Hero, and they didn't use the original master on it. So, huh. What they do well is boring. Yeah, well, see, the thing is, and this kind of comes down to a lot of older metal bands for me, is it's very riff oriented. You have to buy into that. If you're there for some gritty riffs, constantly going, wanting to get your face melted off, there's a lot of music from the 80s and 90s. 90s and 2000s? When did this type of music kick off? It would be the 80s, right? There's a lot of bands who do that though. I typically need a little bit more forward progression, some melodic stuff in there, and the fact that there's growls with it rather than a clean vocal to fill in a melodic section doesn't really work for me either. But I can't deny that as far as riff heavy music goes, this song is just really great at it. I mean, you can if you can pull me in on a riff, you're doing something right. Never understood the big hype around this track. I think it's just that core riff. I will say the middle of it doesn't quite hit me as strong, but the intro and outro are so good. They rely on a riff as a hook. It has to be really solid. Yeah, and see, that's where bands like Bolt Thrower come in too. I don't know all their stuff, but everything I consistently see about that group is that they are the riff kings. And the few songs I've listened to are great riffs. So I think that really is what separated a lot of bands in the past is how good their riffs were. And it really was, as you said, make or break. It has to be really great because it is what's hooking people in. There are so many tracks that I like much more, riffs included. Is it more forgettable than the Alabama Shakes? Or have you already forgotten about Alabama Shakes? I haven't. That chorus was so good. But yeah, it's I did find it interesting though that panning out to the crowd, there's a couple mosh pits, there's a couple people crowd surfing and whatnot, but a lot of people are just sort of just up there nodding their head real lightly, not even like headbanging. It looked a little odd given how many people were there and that it's Lamb of God. But this could have been at the end of a day too, energy's dropping, who knows. Mentally AFK? Oh man, that's a solid phrase. I might have to borrow that. That's like two phrases. What was the other one? Is crowd vortex. That was it. These are good stuff, man. People are afraid headbanging will lead to CTE. Where was this? Because I remember him saying England, but I think he might have said New England. I don't know. No one's given me a location. That's okay. It's not that important. We're moving on anyways. Next one we got Of Stalwart Fades, Yum Hope Yum versus Rum Coke Rum. What? Oh man, and the album's called I Regret to Inform You the Boat Has Been Destroyed. This is you think that is England? Okay, so I will say this then. I find it very bizarre there was a Confederate flag being waved in England. That that really caught me off guard there. Makes no sense to me. Although there is a really comedic, ironic perspective to that, but uh good old freedom. Bootleg sea shanty title? I can get behind that. This one comes at us from Johnny Truant, another obscure post-hardcore band in celebration of the theme week. So obscure that Johnny had to upload a good version on his own channel just to give me something to check out. So let's dive into this one. We have a long and storied history of shooting people. I can't not read that in a southern accent. I don't know what that says about me and my relationship to phrases like that. Let's dive into this, see what's going on. The knife bins. You might be onto something, Damien. Ooh. Okay, that was an interesting way to kick off. I'm not kicking anything, we're still doing it. I've never even heard of that. Dang, y'all tearing into this. It's an interesting combinations of sounds. It definitely has a post-hardcore foundation, but it explores it through more of the core with a dash of math. Not necessarily in a way that I would associate with mathcore. And like this guitar riff kind of gives me like a Midwest emo vibe, but done with a bit more mathiness, alluding to like swancore. And even this extended instrumental section feels a bit out of place for a post-hardcore track. This section, I think it's the chorus, is solid. Hardcore metal. We'll just start calling this calculus. I really want to like this. There's some wild ideas in here. I'm kind of curious. Oh yeah, probably won't. Oh, it's from 2007. An EP from 2007. Yeah, it's wild because this feels like one of those albums that was at the forefront of something, but was one a bit way too rough around the edges, but something that I think might have caused some inspiration for some sounds that we would hear in the future. There's a lot of modern concepts in this track that I would hear in future offsprings of the hardcore sound. As I mentioned, mathcore is in here, math rock is in here. There is a post-hardcore style that I think matched what was going on at the time, but also forward-looking at what swancore would become. It's also noisy in a way that I think Mars Volta eventually leaned into after doing At the Drive-In. It doesn't feel like it came out in 2007, while simultaneously, at least on production, 100% is I'd even say earlier 2000s. I did say swancore. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the genre name. It's typically just progressive post-hardcore, but it's what they give bands like Dance Gavin Dance or Hail the Sun. I wish they'd pick a better name, but I don't get to pick genre names, even though I wish I did. I'd wipe out the whole genre slate and start from scratch if I could. The tree is getting too messy. Yeah, it is very rough around the edges though. And some of it I think even comes down to not just how they're playing or how it's produced, but the ideas and the length of them. I don't know that it necessarily justifies the 6 minute runtime, but it is a good reminder that eventually I'm going to have to listen to more stuff like this if I plan on going on this journey. There's going to be a lot of music, especially at the beginning of the post-hardcore journey I plan on going on, that's going to be more experimental, a little rougher. And I hope I can get as much perspective out of it as I did something like this. Because I don't think I enjoyed it. It had good moments, it had good ideas. The execution is a little rough on it, but it's really cool to see this in perspective of what came after it. I can tell the ideas were there. The problem is that the ideas sounded more like a proof of concept. Yeah, and like when it comes to music, I feel like we have to do that. We don't really have a way to, I mean, we do have a way to focus test uh, musical experimentation, but it just doesn't work that way in execution because usually the people experimenting on the boundaries of musical innovation are the ones without the funding. They don't have ways to see how things work and what should be shaved off and what should be rounded out. And honestly, sometimes it's for the better. There's some bands that are super rough that everybody loves. Albums from earlier in a band's career that are better than their more polished, more experienced stuff later on. So I don't even know if it's necessarily something that should be strived for. But when it comes to music, when it comes to art in general, most of where we get to comes from albums like this, where they are more of a proof of concept. They're doing things that not many people have done yet. They don't have a road to walk on here, and so it's going to be rough. Definitely influence from Fall of Troy. I still need to get around to that one. The guitarist here is the guy that filled in on the bass when they kicked out Tim. Oh, okay. But yeah, I'm intrigued by it. I don't think it's something I'd put on myself, but it's like I said, what genres would you call differently? Um, like all of them, especially ones that evolved over time, especially anything with post in front of it. Because, like, when you get to post hardcore, post rock, post metal, the idea is that it's like postmodernism. You're naming it based on ideas of right now, but eventually the perspective on that's going to change. It's going to need a new name because something else is going to come after that. What happens when you take post rock and extrapolate that? Now you're at post rock. That's just dumb. Art has the same problem. Post should not be used as anything. Post everything. Black metal makes no sense to me either. I have come around to understanding what blackened is, but that word does not describe anything about the music to me, at least. Hard rock, I suppose, might have made sense at one time, but now it encompasses two entirely different genres, a couple of decades apart, that do rock very differently, but they're both hard rock. Like, rock and metal is just a mess. It really thrash at least makes sense to me, but I think speed metal is just more indicative of it. I don't know. We need a stream of Brian making up genre names. It'll be like 2 hours. Give me a genre, and then I just tell you what it should be named. Genres are just overthinking, but with terms. Yeah. The modern era for literature is 1900. Yeah, exactly. I don't like any groupings of things that are based in context of something that is currently happening. Wait, speed metal is a thing and it's not even fast anymore? See, that's what I'm talking about. Everything needs to be reevaluated. I don't like it. Even emo, like emo music for the most part is a visual aesthetic that lines up a lot with Visual Kei from Japan. It doesn't really describe the music at all, but it is a music genre. That it doesn't work. Why? A lot of emo music shares some similarities, but you could give somebody two different emo tracks and they would not like them both. Yeah. Emo is a hilarious name. Like somebody listened to music and said, "Hey, your vocalist sounds emotional. We're gonna call your music emo." Like, why? Yeah, like glam metal. It tells me more about the personas of the musicians than the music itself. Yeah, crabcore. It describes an action that people do while they're playing music. There's Yeah, okay, so we've got a lot more coming in here. I thought I was going to be a little light on details here, but any genre that tells me about the visuals of of the performers than the music itself, I just think straight up doesn't work. it has eventually worked, but it's not inviting to new people. You come in and you see all these genres and you're like, what does metal that sounds like a crab? What does that sound like? And like, no, 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 no. It's actually that people, they get down and look like crabs when they play it. And you're like, oh, well, what does that sound like? Because I don't know based on that visual if I'd like that. I need to know what the genre sounds like. There's going to be a lot of condensing too. But see, okay, so here's the thing, all right? I'm going to rant a little bit here. Like a decade ago now, maybe a little less, maybe like 8 years ago, I started a project of basically making a video game launcher for myself. I used an established software, but all the metadata is completely hand done by me for the most part. And one of the things I did was completely re-envision the genre idea. And I decided to do away with like 90% of the genres that people utilize to describe games. And I used a completely different system that utilizes genres plus tags. And I think it works a lot better if it is a little bit more convoluted. It doesn't roll off the tongue as well. I would probably take the similar approach to metal and probably look at it with a bit more of a lens of hierarchy. So it might take 5 words to describe something that is quite a bit far in the tree, but it would be more descriptive. It'd be more a scientific take. Acid adventure. Do I have a rant stance? Did I do that? Did I get into like the body movement, body language of I'm about to go off on something right now? Yeah, new metal, that's another one. Rap metal I think works. It describes what kind of metal. Well, it describes why it's different. It is metal with rapping on it. But like trap metal requires that you know what trap music is, and I don't think trap electronic music is too descriptive. Why am I trapped into this? That kind of thing. Yeah, technical death, black, and doom metal. Like I said, much like with my video game genre overhaul, it doesn't really roll off the tongue, but you know what you're getting in store for there. Yeah, and there's another one. I have no idea what the difference between those two are. I know what grindcore is. No, I know what grindcore is. I don't know what either of those are. And doesn't make sense for the context of rap. That is true, though rap to me is here's the other thing. Rap isn't a genre to me. It's a delivery method that tends to get paired with hip hop. A lot of people just call it rap music, and I don't find that to be accurate either. The difference is zero. Well, that's fantastic. Was it 2 weeks ago, I guess, when I started ranting about the letter C because all it does is confuse people because it's just a K or an S? Yeah, so gore grind and porno grind are kind of sitting in that same area. We don't need either one of them. We'll figure out something else. Ditch them both, especially since they mean the same thing. No, I have real strong feelings about genre, I suppose. Alright, next up we got some Gene Shinozaki with the track Jigsaw from the Apartment Sessions. Me when someone says they like a super specific genre metal. Well, it still sounds like trash. Oh, so lyrical difference between the two of them. Or is it just is it grindcore with lyrical variations? Because see, that would make sense to me. I don't think they're good genre names, but that would be something that I would have as a secondary layer of information. Alright, what do we got here? Oh yeah, we got to do context. This one comes from Magikarp. Some of the most gorgeous stuff I've heard in a while. I consider the video to be very important to the first time experience of the track. Is this the video? This is not the video. I guess I gotta find that. Oh, did I mute my mic? I was just repeating some of the stuff in chat. We got some beatbox here.
Why can't I pretend that everyone I can't place myself into this jigsaw puzzle. I can't feel.
I started talking about genres and music. YouTube's like, nope, we can't have him sharing his heretical beliefs.
I can't place myself into this jigsaw puzzle, and I'm like. Place myself into this all alone.
For some reason, I thought this was going to be more. Oh, they're coming in. I just wanted to make sure I didn't get the wrong video. The video's from 2 years ago, but can't necessarily go on that.
Why can't I pretend like everyone? I can't place myself into this jigsaw puzzle. I can't feel to dead in anyone. I can't place myself into this
Jigsaw puzzle, and I'm like. Place myself into this.
Ooh. Give me some groove on that. Everyone's a bassoon enjoyer, they just don't know it yet. Yeah, I was gonna wait to bring it up, but the beatboxing is a bit low compared to everything else. when everyone's playing. It works well in these situations, though, with just a few instruments. So we have 3 saxophones there.
Why can't I pretend that everyone I can place myself into place myself into this.
Yeah. All right. Is there more? I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit. Just a celebration. You're not wrong about getting hot. Who said that? Oh yeah, Blake. I was thinking about that because it's something I thought about in the Nowhere Forever videos as well, where they cram a bunch of people into a small, especially what did I'm the President? That music video, they had like a full brass section in the living room. They had a choir outside. They had the 2 pianos and drum kit in that small hallway. I think about that when I see these videos. I'm like, dude, I have played with 50, 60 bodies before, and it's hot even in an open area, and you've just crammed all these people in this area and then also put lights everywhere. Like, nah, that is just it's gonna be so hot in there. I wouldn't mind a studio version, but I'm happy with this. I don't think I need anything more. It's well produced enough. It definitely has a bit of a compression to it. It's not as clean as it could be, but I think it's fine. I can still make everything out on it. I would like the beatboxing up a little bit during the denser sections. Why do I keep forgetting to put myself back down here? Because it is a little quiet when everyone's playing. The composition of it though is just gorgeous. Yeah, the volume levels. The composition's gorgeous though. I love hearing how it goes. It does feel a bit disjointed at times. I think that's my only complaint with it, but each of the individual sections I think works really well, and some of the build-ups are nice, but it feels like a series of four sections written for a bunch of classical instruments, with the beatboxer providing some transition between the ideas. There are some callbacks, but for the most part, they do feel completely separated, though I do like the flow of it too. We have highs, we have lows, rise back up for a big ending. It works really well. Weren't a fan of it. Interesting. I wonder how big of a beatboxer this Gene guy is. because he's employing a lot of the techniques I hear in beatboxing competitions. But like Johnny said, there's nothing here that's really wowing me until the orchestra came in. Prior to that, I thought he was a great beatboxer. Like, I'm not gonna, I've tried. I'm not gonna put down his skills or anything like that, but there just wasn't anything here that was outstanding to me. But I like how it got paired with everything else, and it came together into something that's really great. I'd love to hear some more of his stuff, though. The apartment sessions we just listened to, the same track, another track from Gene, and then Gene getting on a roller coaster. Good job, YouTube. I'm here for the beatboxing, but thanks for throwing that my way too, I suppose. Just in case I wanted to see it. I think that about covers everything. It's really well done. And I think that's what encapsulates it all for me. Is the end result, the product of it all, outweighs any individual moments. What if he beatboxes on the roller coaster? I'd hear that. I'd stick around for that. You like roller coasters there, bud? Roller coasters. Everyone likes roller coasters. That'd be pretty impressive, though. I don't think I can do much on a roller coaster other than slightly black out, so maybe that's a skill all in itself. But I'd like to hear someone beatbox on a roller coaster. Trying to think of any other crazy stuff I've seen. I know I've seen videos of like people doing stuff on roller coasters. I just can't think of what they are. I want to see someone try to play a trumpet on a roller coaster, though. That sounds like it'd be crazy and a little dangerous, like, for sure. I'm not saying that it's something I want to see, but like I'd be interested in seeing it if all the precautions were taken. Maiden Heights, Murakami. This one comes at us from Wormy. Synth-heavy indie pop? I don't know if it's supposed to be questioning what the genre is, but that's how I read it. Preparing food on a roller coaster. Depending on the meal, I think that would be okay. Fabio got hit by a bird while on a roller coaster? That sounds hilarious. I hope everything's okay, though. Bird's not too damaged. Fabio came out okay. But it's also one of those moments like, what are the chances of anybody getting hit by a bird on a roller coaster? And then it's a celebrity that's being filmed. Like, the sheer odds of that. Alright. Let's dive into this. Slightly blackened post-roller coaster metal. I bet if I took ambient sound of roller coasters and blackenedified it, yeah, we're gonna roll with that. Just really, really high compression, high fuzz, small sounds, lo-fi it up. I bet I could make a black metal track out of that. The Earth has decided to clown on you for the day. Canadian low budget guy from the other week? I don't remember that. That's just the Doom soundtrack. Alright. Let's kick it. See what's going on with Maiden Heights. A fade-in back mask? Oh, out for a rip? That's, yeah, man, that's good. I gotta listen to that again now. Shade Core, man. You got me there. We'll have to rename it. Yeah, I can get behind this.
like a poltergeist in the streets. It's a silly rush that I used to get, singing Billy or reading Vonnegut. I could teleport to the stars.
I don't even need any change on this. An album might need more diversity, but I'm fine if the song just sticks on this.
'Cause you really know it's down like that, like the universe is singing a song. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Do you feel it when you ride like that?
What was that? The pitch shifted triangle hit?
Like the universe is singing a song. Ooh, ooh, ooh. 目に映るものはいつも本物だとは限らない。Cause you really hold me down like that. Cause you really know it's down like that. Like the universe is singing a song.
And sometimes you just, nothing to say, you just gotta enjoy it.
Do you feel it when you write like that? Do you feel it cause you're down like that? Like the universe is singing a song. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Oh!
It's just a story though. Is it a story though? I can't tell if it happened cause it felt impossible. Don't know whether it was real or a dream. Imagination playing tricks on me. Now tell me what you know. Is this a story or an allegory?
It's
for the
not.
wrecking
That is
What's the
unnecessary.
difference if it's real or a dream?
We need it on Spotify, or at least Bandcamp.
What's the difference in my love or scheme? The difference in what you say, what you mean, what you mean. You don't really know. I'm losing touch with the physical. I'm showing up in the future like I've been here before. Ain't that a story though?
That's
Like
a
you
good
and
line.
I know. Somebody switching the digits up on my Casio. Don't know whether this is real or a dream. Imagination playing tricks on me.
Yeah,
私
that
を
was
信じて
good.
さえくれたらこの世界をもっと信じれるのに
It's not a Bandcamp either. Where is this? Where can I find more? I guess just on their YouTube page? Wow, they don't even have CDs. 'Cause you know sometimes YouTube will collect the albums for them and put it into a playlist. They don't even have that. Wow. How old's the channel? 2011? 9 years ago, all the stuff came out. Here's the artist on Spotify. But everything's gone. It's an old link. Wow. I wonder if they're going under a different name now that they've published the songs under that name. Yeah, we're definitely getting a big consolidation of Japanese artists today. I think only two though, right? Oh, no, yeah, Gene, yep, so three. Oh, we're gonna get a fourth one too. So, yeah, a lot of them were requested, and the randomizer condensed them all into one day. They're not making anything anymore. Dang, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to more. Oh, this next one's from Plague Tale. So that's 2 game soundtracks today, right? Dang. Lots of coincidences. Yeah, though, that was just phenomenal. I loved how we had these micro layers being added in. Somebody had mentioned, I think it was Blake, that it was changing over the first half of it. It's just small changes. An extra vocal track here, a little triangle sound there, some ornamental things. We did have a couple things being added to the core foundation, but it was subtle. And then we get the really big moment. The big tuba comes in. I don't know if that's actually the instrument they use there, but it sounds close enough to me. And this brings vocal diversity to it. We bring in a lot of new harmonic ideas. New textures are introduced. It is just this big moment, and it completely recontextualizes the entire song, because from this point onward, we don't really revisit the sounds of our opening, though we do revisit some of the composition. It is wholly tied together in the fact that many of the compositional ideas are concurrent through the whole song. They just find new ways to play them, new instruments and textures and timbres, and it is a treat for the ears and the mind. It does a lot of the cool things I like about more technical electronic music, utilizing a lot of sounds and putting them in interesting places, but it doesn't ignore the catchiness of a good pop track alongside that. And yeah, I loved everything about it. Man. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. It was so good. Yeah, man, that sucks too, because even on their YouTube, what did I see? Like 11 videos? There's not a lot of music out from them, but I would love to hear more. Looks like the band was from the US, just the song title was in Japanese. That's interesting because I did hear Japanese in there. I don't know if that was sampled. I don't remember if the voice timbre matched this vocalist. Yeah, Fleshwater was really great. And they're cool too. That's awesome to hear. And glad to have you on the stream. All right. Next up, we got some Olivier Deriviere. I gotta be pronouncing that wrong. With the track No Turning Back. The composer for the Plague Tale Requiem. We got our second game soundtrack today. Let's dive into this, see what's going on. Olivier. Okay. Deriviere. Olivier Deriviere, is that correct? Or is... Yeah, it's spelled differently, so I assume it has a different pronunciation, but I could be wrong on that. Alright, Spotify. I know. You get tired when you're open too long. Gotta refresh ya. The O might be more like an Olivier. Okay. Synapse. I'm gonna let you know that did not help me much. Because I don't know what the accent's supposed to sound like. Very tense though, not just in the energy, but in the sounds of it too. Oh, we're not going to return to that. There's this... Yeah. There's so much emphasis on the vibration of the bow scraping across the string. Just Americanize it. Oh, okay. Deriviere? Deriviere? I don't know where the emphasis goes either. That's not helping. Just keep showing me more letters with accented symbols on them. It'll help. Deriviere. Dude, just laying into this, half the song's over and it's just this constant tension, which I guess works for a track called No Turning Back. No dynamic accentuation in French. Deriviere. Deriviere. Dude, man. The performance that he's pulling out of these string players is phenomenal. It is such an aggressive sound overall. It's one of the things I miss about interacting with actual musicians when I make my music. Is it's one of those things that you have to, if you're doing it digitally, you need the right sound pack for it. Yeah, this is music for A Plague Tale, Requiem. I haven't played it yet, but that music is exactly what I think the game is, just very dramatic. Not just in the idea of having drama, but being in the drama genre. It's very intense. It's narrative driven, I believe. Yeah, and that song just absolutely nails the vibe. And again, it's because, at least as far as I can tell, there are real performers in this. And as a composer, and probably the conductor here as well, you can absolutely tell these people, this is what I want. Dig into that string. Give me as much grit as you can. And as much as I want to, I can't pull that out of the orchestral library that I have in Reaper. I would need a specific library to give me stuff like this. And even then, it might still be lacking something that I want to give it character. This is very alive when it comes to a way that I would describe the music. It's just... It leans into the feelings of tension and anxiety and animosity and drive and constant movements in a way that it goes beyond what's on the paper. The performance itself tells just as much about the theme and atmosphere that's going on here as the notes do. So easy to break strings on the bow playing that aggressively. Oh yeah. It's got gusto. Yeah. The drums at the end go longer than I feel they should. I could see that. I agree about that too. It could be scaled up into something. I like it where it is though. I think it sells exactly what it needs to. Um, but if we kind of go outside of that and explore what it could be devoid of the game, yeah, I think I'd like to hear it expanded. I see Altered Dimension said it was COD lobby music, and certainly in the first minute and a half or so, I can hear that. It had just enough intensity to get you pumped, but also like quiet enough for menu music. Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, just like it's perfect. I have no criticisms for it at all. It does what it needs to do in a way that not a lot of composers I think could get their music to be. And it's all because the dude knows what he wants and has the performers put that into the performance itself. And there's so many little timbre bits that are happening in here just to elevate the feelings, the atmosphere of the piece. I think this is the second thing we've listened to off of this track, I mean, off of this soundtrack, right? Or am I getting? I think I'm mixing this up with Pathologic too, which we have listened to stuff off of. Hey, welcome. A late good morning. It is not morning my time anymore, so definitely a late good morning. But still glad to have you. We still have a couple more tracks ahead of us, so still have time. I feel like I would have heard it if you did, and I don't think I have. Yeah, so it must have been Pathologic then, which I think we've listened to a couple tracks off of. Maybe only one because who's that group that did the Pathologic soundtrack? Theodore. It was a group, but they used like a person's name. Theodore Bastard. That's what it was. That soundtrack is really good too, though. Music lover. Awesome. Wait, yeah, what? Okay, we're gonna go with music lover on that one. I also see the word clover in there, but then it would be music clover, and I don't think that's what you're going for. So yeah, glad to have you. Seen a lot of new faces on the stream today, which is pretty cool. I know we've picked up a lot of new subscribers, and the subscriber rate for the last month is quite a bit higher than it has been over the last couple of years, and it's stable too, so that's pretty exciting. I think we're going to see a lot of new faces around the streams this year as we keep going through 2024. The rest of the Requiem soundtrack doesn't have that much drive. There's lots of highlights. Yeah, I'm not too interested in just the drive. It's more of how he goes about crafting it, and that's what I would want to hear more of is his unique perspective on creating atmospheres. How he can really dig into it and find the meat of it and pull that out. Those BTS videos did blow up, and we have another one coming out this week. I don't want to become a K-pop reaction channel, but it is a group that is rather consistently showing up. So I do want to lean into that every once in a while. Every couple of weeks, I'll do something from the K-pop world. So we're going to be checking out BTS, the full band, instead of just some side projects. I think that's on Tuesday or Thursday, Wednesday. It's one of the days this week. No, I think I'd rather take K-pop. Especially since K-pop is fresh to me. I'm still learning stuff about it. Oh man. I'm sure that's happened. I know the Will Wood normal album reaction blew up. I think it is the most watched album review I have, and a lot of people have told me they want more listenable music reactions away from metal. So there's definitely those outliers in what I react to that are pulling in people who aren't quite finding anything on the channel to their tastes. And I'm sure the K-pop stuff's going to happen with that too. Honestly though, I think K-pop, J-pop, stuff like that, it's fine. I think I would probably just rename it to pop though, but then we need to get in pop subgenres. Because I don't necessarily think that K-pop is any different from J-pop or American pop or Euro pop. They all have their own unique timbres to them. But for the most part, they're all encompassing similar vibes and ideas. So, and then I started listening to the weird stuff. Oh, yeah, you found me through, yeah, Bring Me the Horizon. Yeah, Ludens was like week 2, week 3. That was 2019, and I only put out like 20 videos in 2019. I started in November. So yeah, if you were there for Ludens, you were there from the very start. And it did not take long for the prog rockers, the prog metalers, and the black metalers to find me. And once that happened, the channel shifted to metal. There's just no way around it. Yeah, I think the first Taken I did was Aquarius, and that was just a phenomenal track. Been lurking for a while. Vector. Okay, that's semi-recent. What was that, 2022, I think? When we checked out Recharging the Void. Protest the Hero. The first one we did was Blood Meat, right? And that was 2021, I think. That was earlier. Krallis. Yeah, Krallis was early on too. I think that was mid 2020. It wasn't quite near the beginning, but it was definitely in my first year of making videos. I got thrown into the deep end with that one. I don't know how I remember all this stuff. But then I can't remember to get the live stream 100% set up before I hit start streaming. Yeah, it is interesting to find out where people discovered the channel. Especially since when I think of like some of my favorite channels, I don't know that I could tell you where I discovered them. The human brain is very mysterious. Like, for the rest of my days, I could tell you the square root of 13 to like 5 or 6 decimal places is 3.6055551275. I don't know why. I know that. I do. It's stuck in there as a memory fact. I didn't plan to learn it, I don't think. It's not going to help me at all, but my brain refuses to let go of that. Definitely a mystery though. Why I keep things in my brain, don't other things. Alright, that was phenomenal though. Plague Tale. Next up, penultimate track for today. We're looking at Brother Daniel's Hospital. This was very lucky because we had just checked this out. Bertle suggested this when mentioning something along the lines of, oh, Leprous. Leprous was an early one. Lilo's full... I don't even know Lilo's full name. I didn't know... I thought that was just her name. She just had the one. Talk about useless stuff, that's for sure. I mean, man, I have a lot of useless information in my brain, that's for sure. Every single piece of frame data for everything in Smash Bros. Ultimate, but I couldn't tell you where Sora was from. Yeah, especially like childhood. You give me like the first 2 Pokemon generations, you show me a Pokemon, I'll be able to give you their name and like a very close approximation of their national Pokedex number. don't know why. It wasn't even relevant for me back then. I didn't need to know that. The names maybe, but numbers? And yet here I am. I can do it still. I think frame data is one of those things though, because like, especially if you were in competitive Smash, it's one of those things you're using every day and you're utilizing in a context. It almost becomes, I think, I don't have a psychology degree, so like if I'm wrong on this, just go for it. But like it almost becomes work, where it becomes something that your brain thinks you need to know because you're utilizing it so often, so you learn it. I mean, being weird, I think we're all a little weird here. Maybe we all know random facts we shouldn't. We have no use for anymore. Memorize anything I'm interested in. That's interesting. I'm waiting to get called out on that. You're not weird? That sounds like something a weird person would say. I'm over here trying to forget work knowledge to keep that Tekken 8 data in. Define weird. I don't know. It's one of those words that just... it feels right when you say it. It's like, I can look at a box and I'm like, that's a solid box. But I look at one that's not a solid box, I'm like, that one's a weird box. Abnormal would probably be the closest definition, but I don't think that's a great way to describe weird people. I don't know. Outside the norm, maybe? I think everyone's outside the norm, though. I think that's why I think everyone's weird. I think it's weird to think that there is a normal thing for a person to be. This box is peculiar. Go back to renaming the genres then. But it is a box. Yes, that is for sure. I can put things in it. It is cube-like. The definition of weird? Weird people are non-boring. See, I can go with that. I think that's a positive spin on it. Slightly off from the norm. The average human has less than 2 arms. Because of how averages work. Yeah, everyone would have to have 2 arms in order for that to be the mean. The minute you introduce anything less than that, you are now at less than 2 for an average. That checks out. Ant evolved from a wasp. I don't want to hear that. That's so weird. Y'all are blowing up my brain today. The fun fact meter was tripped. And see, useless. Oh, okay, I don't know if that's useless for you. It's definitely useless information for me that I'm probably not going to forget now. I'm going to end up repeating it to somebody, and then it's going to get solidified in my brain. Hey, this is something you brought up one time. You might need it again, bro. I'm going to store this away for safekeeping. I might not even remember that I remembered it, but I'll say it sometime. I'll be like, wow, where'd that come from? Apologies in advance, Pliny, when I forget to credit you for that. Oh, that's interesting. Normal are things that can be... Is that a stats thing? Alright, we're going to push forward because... Dang. It's already been 2 hours. There's no perfectly normal person, so everyone... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everyone's weird. And I'm okay with that. Alright, Brother Daniel's Hospital. We just listened to Brother Daniel last week, right? For Indie Rock? Very timely. Can you use a definition to define another definition, though? No one's normal, so everyone's weird, so thus everyone must be normal if everyone's weird? Yeah, see, it starts getting cyclical. I don't think that's how that works. It's like saying the definition of a table is a table. Like, you gotta use other words to define it. Gorgeous start to the track, though. I'm not going to sit here and try to define a table. I'm going to end up with 2 paragraphs about what constitutes a table and what doesn't. Yeah, this is a really nice contrast to the last track we checked out from them. Is there? See, I kind of figured it would go in that direction, but I didn't know literally people had debates about what equals a table. Something in the same vein of like, what is a sandwich, philosophically? Hey, glad you're here for it. Words don't work how people think they do. Yeah, though this is gorgeous primarily because of all the counterpoint. It has a really nice atmosphere too. I think the timbres are nice, but to me it's the composition that's standing out. And it's wild to think that this came from the same group that just gave me straight hard rock the other day. I don't think so. It might have... So I think someone sneezed in my house. Usually that stuff doesn't get picked up though. Really nice texture on this. Some timey stuff going on. Yeah, the delay is dragging just the slightest. Yeah, gorgeous idea. Lots of really great counterpoint going on in there. Beautiful atmosphere. I love the way that his voice works alongside the guitar. Everything works together well on an auditory level. All the timbres are really nicely composed together. I don't know how to say this. The sounds of the voices and the guitars sound great together. But the composition is what steals it for me. I love all the different ideas going off at one time. It creates something that is dense, yet still easy to listen to without cluttering up the atmosphere of it either. It's, like I mentioned, it's interesting that something this complex and intricate came from a band that gave me some straightforward rock the other day that I really didn't have a lot of things to dig into on a critical direction. This reminds me of something, but I don't know what. The only thing that I think didn't quite work for me was the heavy reverb at the ends. It's a little bit behind the beat, and it feels it's not a positive type of drag where I can associate, oh, the dragging is thematically appropriate or anything. That it just feels like it's behind in a way that makes the song feel like it's falling apart, which could also be thematically relevant, I suppose, but it just didn't work for me. I did not like the way it sounded. That's a new experience. That's cool. I love music that does. I might not necessarily enjoy it, but it gave me a new feeling or a new experience, and so that's always going to stick with me. Sometimes for the negative, like Krallis, that was a new experience for me. I will never forget it. That name will always be tied to a specific feeling I had while listening to music. But their featured song for indie was 60s pop inspired. Oh, was it? I remember it having a really big guitar tone. Was it 60s pop though? I'll take your word for it. I don't remember it so clearly, I suppose. But I just remember it being very straightforward. We'll stick with that. And this, while being straightforward, had some depth to it, some complexity that I think works really well, especially for what they're achieving. It's supposed to be somber. It's supposed to be isolating. And so, despite having some of the extra layers in places, it still comes off as something that feels lonely. I would have liked to have had this on, what was that, Thursday? I didn't watch your Krallis reaction, but the more you talk about it, the more interested I am. It is 18 minutes of lo-fi tremolo picking and blast beats. It is based off of my memory of 3 years ago.
Can maybe Elizabeth have some candy?
Yeah, that's fine. Not too much, like 2 pieces each or something. Yeah, but from my memory, it is simple and repetitive, but just that for a long time, and I'd never heard black metal prior to that. And so it was just very draining. I said Krallis 3 times and a demon came up. I think today I would just be a bit more bored by it than exhausted. Maybe I'd be able to hear some of the intricacies that draw people to that specific track now that I have a bit more of an ear for black metal. But that reaction is definitely a snapshot of where my experience was with extreme metal at the time. Quite the introduction, yeah. They threw me into the deep end. I would have loved to have some Dark Throne or something to start off with. Nice 3 or 4 minute lo-fi black metal track, and they gave me some 18-minute exhausting thing. I've thought about it in the past, because we did that week where I went back and checked out some stuff I was harsh on. I don't know if I'd want to do it again, though. Like I said, I don't know that I would have much more to say. I think I'd have to listen to bits and pieces of it on my own to see if it would be worthwhile. Because again, all I remember is the repetition of it. And I don't want my new reaction to be, yeah, I can stomach this more, but there's still not much here. That would just not make a good video. Just react to the original one. Could you imagine me sitting here, not really saying much, watching a video of me listening to Krallis, not saying much for 18 minutes? Oh, man. I don't remember that track. I think my favorite black metal reaction is probably going to be Exercises in Futility. I think that was a really good react. I mean, it was an album reaction, but I think I had some good takes on it by the end. Anything else is going to be post black metal. I think that's where most of my favorite reactions to the genre come in. Sounds like a great April Fool's. I already have 3 years worth of April Fool's videos planned, but I can toss that in there for sure. The Krallis re-reaction. I'm writing that down just because of re-reaction. I think that is so good. Oh, I typed reaction, but whatever. I think I'll know what that means when I get around to it. An annual event. And so, like, the little picture in the corner keeps infinitely condensing down. I keep reacting to the reaction to the reaction to the reaction. There we go. The reaction. 13-minute track. Greek theme said it was really draining as well. I don't ever want. I really wish that would narrow it. The Greek themes should narrow it down. I don't remember that too much. But draining and never wanting to listen to it again and being on the longer side, I feel like that's a lot of the black metal I get. I should do 2 April Fool's Days. One of them is random throughout the year. That'll be the Krallis one. You never know when it'll be. And then the other one will be what I have planned. You can always expect something fun. I don't think I'm ever going to do Hype Brian again, though. Just like, what was that for Ice 9 Kills? Was that last year? I think I remember seeing a comment on that one. And they were like, your face 17 seconds in realizing you're going to have to keep this energy up for the whole video. And it's true, like, I can't be that hype. I don't know how people do it. It's just got to be their personality to be loud and like, hey, let's go, fam. We're going to check out another one. Some Fire Gang. Make sure you like... Like, I can't do that forever. It's just not natural to me. It's so exhausting. Big props to anybody who can just keep that energy for, full reactions. 15, 20 minutes sometimes. You figure that they've edited that down from like 30 minutes, 35 minutes worth of talking. And doing that 5 times a week or whatever, I couldn't do it. Record with a $20 Xbox headset. You did that with your live stream announcement? I cringed so hard. Did I? I kind of remember that. Oh, today. Yeah. Something about live stream gang rise up or something. Yeah. Those people scare me. Yeah, it's just extroverts. I don't necessarily know if they scare me, but it's a completely different type of existing than what I'm used to. Oh my geez. Keeping that energy up through a whole Krallis 18-minute song. That's an interesting sentence, but I feel it. Extroverts are like eldritch horror. I can get that. I feel that. They try to talk to me in person. Scares me every time. I could see it like a goth saying that from the 2000s. Existing is exhausting. I can get behind that. That's why I try to exist in 2 planes. I escape to another realm of existence through media. This could be a webcomic. Yeah, I could see that. Existential crisis. Something like a Japanese horror comic about how introverts and extroverts are like totally different existences entirely. One of them is eldritch horror to the other. We'd have to see what the perspective is. Like, what would an extrovert describe an introvert in this realm? That's probably true too. I feel like that happens with everything that I think of. I'm like, dang, this would be pretty cool. And like 10 people have already done it. I'm like, okay. I'll move on to something else then. They'd be described as prey. Oh, jeez. Oh, is this your track? Then yes, it is today. This one comes from Johnny. The vocals on this song are originally done with a Vocaloid, but I like this cover far more than the original. It's also my own personal vocal hell until I figure out how to sing this version within my vocal range. Well, that's going to be fun. Extroverts just think introverts are plotting. It's like cats and dogs when they like, because their tails mean different things. So they always think like it's the opposite of what's actually happening. So extroverts see somebody quiet and they're like, oh, dang, they're plotting. These guys are sneaky. And introverts are just like, please don't talk to me. I'm hiding in a corner. Yeah, that would actually be a really funny webcomic. Even without the like the extra layer on top of it, the Eldritch Horror layer. Alright, let's wrap today up. A little later than usual. We got some PinocchioP, or as I want to call them, PinocchioP. Because as I've said many times, if you don't put spaces, I'm going to read it all as one word. With the track Goddish, though this is a cover by Ado. Aren't introverts and extroverts just those post-human species from Time Machine? Alright, let's dive into this. Both versions sound stupid. I'm still partial to Pinocchio. Okay, I like the intro. There's lots of really cool ornamental things going around, some really neat instruments being utilized. I like the whispering in the back. Oh, yeah. There's so much vocal variety in here too. Yeah, flexible vocalist, 100%. It's funny, I don't necessarily want there to be harsh vocals, but adding the grits into the cleans over those periods, it upsets me that we don't go into something bigger after those. A little operatic flourish. It's interesting too to find the Latin vibes in this track. Is there a genre for this type of vocal dexterity with fun tracks? Because it reminds me of that Spider anime outro song, which I enjoyed for the same reasons as this, even though musically they're very different, of course. Actually, I see, the thing is though, I don't want the Vocaloid aspect. I mean, I guess I would have to learn to enjoy them, I suppose, if there's a lot of music in that realm like this. But yeah, definitely just having a vocalist that can pull off airy poppy style, forward placed rock style, adding grit into their operatic whispers, just like every vocal style the vocalist can just toss in there, and the music is fun alongside that. I don't even really care what the overall genre is. This is poppier. The outro to that spider anime was rockier or metalier. I don't remember. Um, but what just stands out to me is that they're fun tracks with a lot of vocal diversity, and I'd love to hear more of that. Visual K does that sometimes too, as just an aesthetic. My Visual K knowledge is very old. I'm thinking like Despair's Ray, like 2000s groups. Uh, it's if it's still going on, I have no knowledge of it. I'll have to check those two out though. King and Boca della Verita, and Otto covered both. So I mean that might be a good place to start too. Is just check out what Otto has done. Stick to that. But yeah, I'm sold on this. This was just a blast. It's technically proficient, at least from the vocal side. On the production side, the composition is not too in depth, but there's a lot of really cool sounds going on. It hits a lot of the things I like about electronic music, which is just hearing sounds you don't normally hear in music and having them placed in areas you wouldn't normally expect. Just basically the opposite of orchestral music, where every instrument has a place and a specific sounds. And yeah, the Latin beat that comes in on the chorus was totally unexpected because I don't really feel any Latin harmonic ideas going on in here, but it's very cool to feel that beat underneath everything. It's just a smorgasbord of ideas that somehow work together in a way that's very pleasing to my ear, and that's a beautiful thing. What's the blender thing that you use to make cotton candy? I'm going to call it a cotton candy blender, but maybe it has a proper name. It'd be a good name for this kind of pop. I like it. Smorgascore. Okay, we're going to go with that. I like it. Although I think that implies that hardcore is part of it, so I don't know if that works. We can go with smorgaspop, which also makes me think that I should make soda out of it to go along with Genti Pop and Blackened Pop. One of these days I should contact Jones Soda or somebody, see if I can't get some music genre sodas made. Smorgaspop's going to be one of them. It's going to have a bunch of berries in it, including snozberry. We're going to have to figure out what that tastes like, but they're going to have to put it in there. Cool. Toss me that. I'll definitely check them out. And like I said, I'm probably just going to dive more into just what she's done, because that works for me. We'll save Smorgascore for the hardcore fluid, similar stuff. Yeah. Snozberries taste like snozberries. Yeah. I'm glad someone caught that. All right. I see some other reactors check this out, including Chris Lipe, which is pretty cool. I might see what he has to say about it, being that it is a vocal related track. I didn't know Chris did reactions, by the way. I only know him for his vocal tutorial videos. So that's kind of neat. Oh, you found out about... Oh, okay. It all comes full circle then. That's how the internet works. All right, we've run this over 20 minutes. I'm going to let y'all go. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I knew Otto, but not her Vocaloid covers. Dude, if she keeps doing stuff like this, I'm just going to have to subscribe. I'll be part of the 6 million subscribers. She's talented. Certainly deserves it. There is no black metal. Condolences. Don't be too sad. There's always next time. I don't remember seeing much black metal when I was putting a list together, but, you know, there's always those bands that sneak them in. They're names that don't... It's a band name that doesn't feel very blackened, but, like, they make the music anyways. Alright, glad y'all had fun with this one. I had a blast. I don't know what to call this one yet. I'll figure that out. Maybe we'll just call it the Black Metal Edition and confuse everyone. Y'all have a good rest of your day. I'm gonna enjoy mine and get stoked for this week's theme. All right, catch y'all later.